get whatever you got. Nah. And then I'll put him here. Oh, I'm not feeling so good. I better. We're dead. So, my name is Michael Lyons.
Hi, Michael Lyons.
Hello.
Hello.
And I brought my puppets today, and I brought my guitar, because I wanted to talk about a couple of things.
Hi, Jan.
About what, I want to teach some Ojibwe words. Looks like you guys already know some. And I want to talk about a little bit about history, and I want to sing some songs. And so where should I start? Would you guys like to hear a song or hear a story? How many people here want to, you can choose between a story or a song. How many want a story? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many here want to hear a song? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, let's do a story first, and then we'll do a song second. So the story goes,
It's like poop, 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 poop.
oh, and I forgot my harmonica, but that's okay. The,
I have a kazoo. That's the best I can do.
a kazoo? I never learned how to play kazoo. Just
We didn't
kidding.
either.
So let's see. I'll tell you a little bit about my history. So I was born back in the days of the grandfathers. I was born in the good old days, called the 1960s. And when I was, yes sir.
Were there like electronics in the?
And my sister goes, Michael, and I was singing by myself. I was too embarrassed to sing in front of people. Michael, you should really go to that coffee house and sing a song for the people. Got up on stage and I sang, and the people clapped, and they were really nice. But you know what happens sometimes? When you're young, and I was like this when I was your age, you say, hey, I'm going to be a football player, and your friends are like, hey, that's a good idea, go be a football player. And then when you become like a 4th grader or a 5th grader, you'll go, hey, I'm going to be a football player when I grow up. And your friends will go, you? You can't even run. And you go, oh, you're right, I'm not good enough to be a football player. Or you'll draw a picture, and your whole life, you'll go, hey, look at that. And your mom goes, well, that's great, what is it? And they go, what's a dog? And, oh, fantastic. And you become a 4th grader, your buddy will go, it doesn't look like a dog. And you start going, I'm no good. I want to remind you, I say, don't listen to anybody who says, oh, you can't do that, you're not good enough. Because everybody has gifts we get from Gitchi Manadu. You guys know what Gitchi Manadu means? Gitchi Manadu means the Great Spirit,
Oh.
the Creator.
Sometimes my friends call me Gitchi.
Gitchi, because it's great. Yeah.
Gitchi.
So Gitchi means the Great Spirit gives us all gifts. And our gifts, we'll know what they are by the things we like to do. If you like to draw, that's a gift the Great Spirit gave you. So you should draw as much as you can. And eventually, when you draw for a long time, you get really good at it. Same thing with singing, same thing with singing. So here's the one of the intro songs for Boozhoo, Not a Boozhoo that I wrote. I'm going to sing it for you. Welcome to Boozhoo, Not a Boozhoo, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I'm happy to be here with you today to speak Ojibwe and learn about language and culture. And if Natasha was singing, it would sound like this. La 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 My what? You don't need to put the on for sleep like that? Yeah. He's only got one hand on right now, and that one's Could you reach into his?
What happened to Pete saying that?
You know, Nana Boozhoo's voice sounds a lot like mine, because it's hard for me to fake Nana Boozhoo because it's kind of my voice.
But when I do Natasha's voice, it's just kind of, what is that? Well, when actors have a part, who can do impression of Batman? What does Batman sound like?
Batman.
Exactly. Very good. So when Batman talks,
When the actor talks, he goes, "I'm Batman." He's going to affect his voice. And Batman does that so no one knows who he is. But that's acting. You're doing something with your voice. Does anyone know what an accent is? What's an accent? Can you give an example of an accent? What's a southern accent sound like? What does someone from the south say? Yes, sir. That's very good. I'm Batman. What does, do you guys watch cartoons?
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you do a voice from a cartoon like, well here's an example of an accent. In Minnesota, we kind of say Minnesota. And on the reservation, a lot of us kind of, and Norwegian people have this too, where their voices are kind of sing-songy. You know, they kind of speak up like this. But if you're from the south, then pretty soon, see something I can't do. Boozhoo, my name is Anamosh. When you're from the south, y'all, okay, if I'm from the south, then I talk kind of like this. And I have a character on my show, I don't know if you've ever seen him, he's a dog. His name is Anamosh. Do you remember that? I should have brought him here. But Anamosh has a southern accent. And so it's kind of like, and this is what's really cool about being a kid, and don't ever outgrow this because kids do. Do you ever get together with your friends and you play just make-believe? You're like, okay, I'm Batman, you're Iron Man, and let's pretend we're going to go in and fight Thanos. All right, okay, I'm Batman, let's go. I'm Iron Man, I don't know what he sounds like. But, when I was a kid, we didn't have video games, we didn't have a lot of stuff, so you just make up stuff. And you'd make up a superhero with superhero powers. I remember saying, I'm Batboy. It wasn't the most creative thing.
Batboy?
But it was kind of like Batman, only I was a boy, and I wore all black, like he does now. But in the old days, Batman used to wear gray and blue, and he had like his underwear on the outside. Gray pants and then blue underwear over it. So it was the old Batman. And now they made them all black. When I was a kid, I thought, wouldn't that be cool if Batman was all black and you could fly? So I was Batboy. So make-believe is what, it's kind of what makes us creative and where songs come from. So, one of the other songs I wrote, a kid might be interested in. Haven't thought much yet. I'll do something for the adults. Okay, here's a song, Ogama. This is what, or Okichida. Ogama's over here.
yeah, they're brothers.
Ogama and Okichida? All right, Okichida means warrior, which back in the day, in the days of the grandfathers, we would have called superheroes warriors. Our stories had, we didn't have Superman and Batman. We had characters who were like great warriors. We'd have like shapeshifters. Do you know what a shapeshifter is? What's a shapeshifter?
Is it person?
Yeah. Ooh. You got it.
Pass.
All right, what do you think it is?
A person who can turn into other things.
Exactly, shape shift their shape. So we had superheroes who could do magical things like change into animals, read minds, grow into giants, stuff like that. Yes, sir. Do you have a question? And so our word for superhero would have been Okichida, warrior. But I was telling a story on Nana Boozhoo the other day where, my grandpa was a real Okichida. He fought in a real war. Back in the days, when I was your age, there was a war called Vietnam that my dad was not in. But his dad was in a war called World War II. Did you guys ever hear of Hitler?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nazis. World War II was Hitler and the Nazis. And they were really mean to the Jews. And so America, this is in a nutshell, America went over there to save them. And so they had a thing called the draft, where they just drew a number and they said, all right, Ogama, you have to go to war. The governor, they would go, you had no choice. You either went to war or you went to jail. So back in the day, there was all these Indian people, and we were warriors. So in World War II, when the war broke out, they said, okay, you can wait for the draft or you can just sign up. My grandpa and his brother and all of their buddies went, all right, let's go. We're going to go sign up for the war. It's like, where? What war? Oh, there's a war somewhere. Well, we're warriors, so let's go fight. And like some of my friends from nowadays go, why did those guys fight the war so quickly? Weren't they mad at the U.S. government? No, man. The Ojibwe people were warriors. It wasn't about politics. It was, this is what we do. We're fighting the war. Now for my grandpa, he was like, wait, I get paid for this? And I get a gun? And so he was all about it. So my grandpa went over there as a Makicida to fight in the war. And he was gone for 3 years. And that was, before he left, he and my grandma got together. And then when he was in the war, my grandma had my dad. But he was gone for 3 years. And I think about the word Ogichida, because nowadays, if you go to college or something, your friends will be like, hey, that's really good, you're a real Ogichida, a warrior. And sometimes I think, well, you're kind of using that, taking ceramics. It's not like you're risking your life. But, so my grandpa came back, and I don't have my cape. My grandpa came back, and my dad was already 3 years old, and my grandma always told me she loved this one song especially. She said it was her and my grandpa's song. And it's kind of a sad song, and I want to sing it for the elders in this room, even though one of them. This is a song by a guy named Willie Nelson, and the song is called Always on My Mind. My grandma never told me the details, but I always wondered, she had to raise my dad by herself for a while. And I don't think my grandpa wrote home very often. I think there were times when she didn't know if he was alive or dead. So I always wondered if he came home and had to kind of say, I'm really sorry I didn't do what I was supposed to do, but you're always on my mind. I can't remember if I caped on this. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. If I made you feel second best, girl, I'm sorry I was blind. You were always on my mind. You were always on my mind. And that was a song my grandma liked. I would sing to her. How many people here have a close relationship with their grandma? Good, really close grandma? Yeah. Grandmas are, grandpas are important too. But they say, and the elders would say, little kids and grandmas, especially old grandmas, have a special connection. So you got to remember, especially like kindergarten and younger, they say kindergartners and babies just came from the spirit world. They were in the spirit world, and then they got born, and they've been here for a couple of years. Old grandmas who are like in their 80s, and they only have a couple of years left until they go back to the spirit world. The babies can kind of tell, like, oh, they told me I was going to see you here. And so sometimes grandmas and babies will look at each other in a special way, like, oh, okay. And they're really tight. So my grandma and I were like that too, with grandma. She'd take a bullet for me. Yes, sir.
Well, my grandpa died.
Oh, I'm so sorry. How long ago?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Do you think it's sad that he passed away?
Yep.
Yeah, it sure is. It's sad, but it's also okay. Just know that your grandpa's in the spirit world with his grandpa and his dad. And everyone gets together again in the spirit world. Real heavy for a young class. Let's talk about mortality. So, who knows what kind of music this is? What do you think? It's a color. It's not green. It's not the greens. It's not the grays.
It's the red.
Not the reds.
It's blue.
The blues. Very good. I got the blues so bad. It's not the reds, not the greens, or the grays. I got the blues so bad. I cry on a sunny day. I'm writing this song as I play it. Something's gotta rhyme with the word Dre. Alright, here's some education. What does it mean when you have the blues? What kind of face? Can I get somebody who'd be willing to come up here and draw a sad face odema? What kind of mouth would a person with the blues have? That's right. What else might be coming from a person's eyes if they have the blues? Yes, sir. Can you come up and add something to the eyes? There you go. Tears. Okay. You just drew Alice Cooper. Welcome to my nightmare. Alright, so the blues means you're sad. What's a way to, do people ever stay sad for more than an hour or two?
No.
Probably not. Anyone ever stay sad for like a whole week? Do you sometimes feel sad for a whole week? Yeah, me too. Me too sometimes? Does anybody know a good thing to do? If you're feeling sad, what can you do to cheer up? What do you think? Play something?
Or draw pictures.
Yeah. I love that. You can draw. Play. Now play means you can play music or you can play army guys. Video games sometimes. Play with your dog, play sports. What else can you do to not feel so sad? Play with your cat?
Play with your dog.
Play with your dog, yeah.
Play
What else
with
can you play with?
Puppets.
With puppets. Thank you, that's what I do. Yes dear, what's else can you play with?
Play with puppies.
Puppies is really makes people feel better. What else? What else can you do?
Play with your sisters.
With your sisters, especially sisters, yeah.
Play with your little brothers if you have one.
Little brothers, if you have one.
Yeah, I have a little baby brother.
Do you really?
No, my little brother.
You know the best way to make someone feel better? Play with them. Try to make someone else happy. You know, let's say you go to school and you think you're going to go on a field trip and you get your lunch all made up and you've got, you've got a plan, your buddies are gonna be in the back of the bus, and it's gonna be super fun, you're going to the deer park, or whatever you guys do in this generation. And you get to school and they go, oh, we canceled it. We forgot there's gonna be testing all day. And you go, oh, I hate testing. And you go into testing, and it's really boring, and then somebody's meeting you, and then somebody ran over your cat, and you're super sad, and you're like, oh, woe is me, I know. And you're like, oh no, my cat. Well, if you're feeling sad, and you're like, I don't know how to feel better, go make someone else happy. Go play with your puppy, go find your grandma, and do her dishes, shovel her, make someone else happy. When you try to make someone else happy, your own blues will go away. That's it.
Instead of that saying make, it says make.
Sorry?
Instead of that saying make, it says make. It looks like a snake.
It looks like a snake?
No, it looks like it. No, it says make. It looks like it's
It's like an N, not an M.
He just erased a little line.
Oh.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Thank you. Hey.
There.
make someone else.
I would be confused. Yes, sir.
Make someone else. You just call someone else.
All right. Who's talking to these guys?
Puppy. Okay, they're alive now.
You're like, come back to life.
Oh, good. Hey. So now I would like to tell a story about an Ogitchida. His name, Asapagone Waninini of the Spider-Man. Back in the days of the grandfathers, there was a little boy, and he lived with his Aunt May and his Uncle Ben. And all these guys, they were tight as bugs in a rug. They loved each other so much. Aunt May would make breakfast every morning. Uncle Ben, he'd drive Peter Parker around to his science fairs. But Peter Parker he wasn't very popular. He was really skinny, he wasn't good at sports. The girls didn't like him. They're like, oh no, Peter, we're not gonna go on a date with you because we're too good looking. Nah. And so Peter Parker was kind of lonely. But he went to a science fair anyway. And at the science fair that day, I thought I was a kid. And I went to the science fair that day. There was a spider. Oh wow, that spider went through a radiation beam. And you know what happens in comic books when a spider gets hit with radiation? That's right. They get cancer and die. Thank you, good night. No, the spider became radioactive. And he bit Peter Parker right on the hand there. Oh, what? Peter Parker looks down and goes, oh geez, there's a glowing spider and he bit me. I hope that's not going to be something. So he goes home, and he gets there and he's like, hey Aunt May, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to go upstairs, I'm going to lay down. And Aunt May was like, okay honey, you go lay downstairs.
You should use her for that.
Yeah, it would be her voice, huh? Well, that night, Peter Parker, he has all these weird dreams. And when he wakes up, he looks down and he's just buff. He's got all these muscles, like, hold on. And he puts on his glasses and he realizes, I don't even need my glasses. It's like I got super LASIK surgery. And you guys didn't get that joke and you didn't. And then pretty soon, you know what? He goes, well, I got these spider powers, and I really like that girl, Mary Jane. If I can just go down and go into the all-star wrestling rink, I can fight the all-star wrestlers, and I'll win some money, and I can buy a car, and I'll get the girl of my dreams. So he goes down there, and pretty soon, he fights these guys. You know, Peter Parker now, he's got Spider-Man powers. So he just wails on these guys. He's super fast, and there's no match for Spider-Man. And the thing's over, and he goes downstairs. He goes to talk to the man. He says, hey, where's my money? Where's my junior? I need to get paid. And the promoter goes, get out of here, kid. I'm not giving you nothing. Oh, Peter Parker was just steamed. Goes marching out of there. Yeah, okay, fine. See if I come back here. Just then, what happens? He hears behind him. Hey, stop that guy! You stole our money! Here comes one of the all-star wrestlers. And Peter Parker sees him and goes, what do I care? You didn't even pay me. After you, sir. And he let the robber get away. So he's walking home that night. And what happens? There's a big crowd up front. He goes, what's going on there? And he runs up to there. And who's there? His old Uncle Ben. He's lying on the ground. He's been shot. And he runs up there and goes, oh, Uncle Ben, what happened? Uncle Ben looks up and he says, Peter Parker, I got shot by an all-star wrestler. And he was carrying his big bag of money. Peter Parker stands up with tears in his eyes. That was the guy. If I had just stopped him, my Uncle Ben would still be alive. From that day forth, Peter Parker promised that he would go home first and make a suit out of tights or something. But then, he put on a mask. He would become Asbageshi Wanenini. I will be the Spider-Man, and vengeance will be mine. And this is the story of Asabagone. Asabageshi. Asabagone means net. Asabagone means net. Anyway, that is the story of the Spider-Man. Good story? No? Really good.